Hey everyone, it's Katie Varner, Superstar Director for the Sunshine State Superstars, and you are watching week 7 in our Climb series. Week 7, if you can believe it, we only have 2 weeks left, if you count this week, right? We have week 7 and week 8, and then we are done with this program. I hope you guys are feeling as great about this as we are. We're seeing lots of team members promote. We've had a couple of directors promote. Within our program, we've had a couple of superstar consultants promote, and of course, we're not done yet. And really, what we hope is that not only are we going to see some promotions throughout the course of this 8-week program, but also that we are creating systems and just programs for you that you are then going to be duplicating with your teams and sharing to your teams, and that this is something that we're still going to be seeing positive results from through the whole fall and even into next spring and summer and beyond. So really, truly, Morgan and I are super excited about this program, all of you guys, and the material that we have shared with y'all. Really, from the heart, truly 100% is what we believe you need to be doing to grow up the compensation plan, to climb the comp plan. So here in week 7, we are going to be talking about rewarding and recognizing the behaviors you want repeated. So this is something that if you're on my team, I know, I'm sure Morgan said it as well, but if you're on my team, I know for a fact you have heard me say this a lot. And this is one of the things that I feel like I'm kind of a broken record about, rewarding and recognizing the things you want repeated. But the reason I talk about it so much is because it's so important. We need to reward and recognize the behaviors, the actions that we want not only our team members, but also our customers to be repeating. So we're going to be talking about both aspects and just kind of this general mentality for both aspects of your personal and your leadership side of your business. So actually, in my presentation for Sensi Family Reunion this year, I actually have a quote in there. I forget who the quote was by because I don't have my slide here to show me, but recognition is, one of the quotes that I have in there is, recognition is the greatest motivator. And what's so great about recognition is there's so many different love languages out there. There's so many different ways that you can recognize people. And it is beneficial if you can learn what their love language is, which I've had my directors take a test. There's actually an online test if you just Google, online love language test. I actually have sent the love languages test to all of my directors, and I like them to take it because it helps me to know what their love language is, especially at that type of a level when it's like your top leaders and you really want to know them well and what speaks to their heart well. So that's something that you can even do with your top leaders, is ask them to take that online test and let you know what their results were, because it's so helpful to know what is speaking specifically to them. So the rest of this that we're going to talk about today, rewarding and recognizing those behaviors and the actions, these are just like commonly very well received ways to give recognition or reward things. And honestly, they're all, really, really very well received by our general consultants and our teams. So let's talk a little bit about why do we recognize our team members? I can tell you myself from my experience, I grew up in the Sensi world without an upline. If you know my story at all, I've rolled up 3 times, and now I'm under somebody whose consultant ID is in the low 200s. And you guys know as well as I do, the numbers are consecutive. Mine's 93,762. That's my consultant ID number, 93762, right? And if you think about the fact that now I have rolled up to somebody whose number is in the 200s, that just goes to show you how far I've rolled up because people have canceled. So my journey with Sensi was one without recognition, besides the recognition that Sensi gave me directly from the company. So I am not going to sit here and tell you that your team members will not be successful without recognition. I'm not going to tell you that, because that would be a complete contradiction to my own personal story. I did not have upline that was there for me, sending me stuff in the mail, sending me text messages, cheering me on, blah, blah. I never had that until I became much more successful, until I really started accomplishing great things in the Scentsy world. Then people came out and started, from my higher upline, then people came out and started, having things they wanted to talk to me about. But prior to that, there was none. So I'm not going to tell you that without it, they're not going to be successful, because there's an internal drive that either exists or doesn't exist for people. And what we can do as leaders is we can create an environment where people feel supported, where people feel loved, where people feel encouraged, where people feel safe. And that right there is going to ensure that more people within your team are stepping out and doing things and getting uncomfortable and trying to take actions to grow their business. Whereas if they didn't have that, they'd have to be a much more self-motivated individual, which is more rare, right? So why we recognize is that we are creating an environment of support, love, encouragement, engagement, and that environment is going to create more people who are going to flourish. It's a great way that we can make them feel valued and make them feel seen, which is so important to people. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the type of things that we're looking to reward. All right, so we want to reward things like getting active. And you might hear me say that and think, why would I want to reward people doing the bare minimum? I get it. I once had that sort of philosophy. Like, why do I want to shout out people for just getting active? Like, that's not what I want. I want to set a higher standard. And I get that. But we have to remind ourselves that we are rewarding things and recognizing things that we want them to consistently be doing, right? So of course I want them to consistently being active. And if I have a team member who's active once a quarter versus a team member who's active every month, that team member who's active every month is more valuable to our team wholesale volume, our group wholesale volume, right? So why should I not highlight people who are getting active every single month and talk about that? And it also creates a this is what we do mentality. So every week during what I call Wahoo Wednesday, and Morgan does the same thing with her team. Every week during Wahoo Wednesday, I'm sure to shout out who is active. Now, unfortunately, as your group gets bigger, it's hard to be able to tag that many names. So what I will do is I will just run my report and I will see how many are active, and I will say, okay, 350 people are active this month. Is that you? Shout yourself out. That's awesome. This is something that we strive to do every single month. And so for you, as you are growing your teams and you're starting out with 2, 3, 4, 6, 10, 12, 15 people, it's a lot easier to make a post on a Wednesday or whatever day you choose to do on social media and tag all those individuals who are active. And I would definitely do that. If you don't want to do that and get yourself in a place where like you have to do something every single week, you could always just set a reminder in your phone that once a week or a couple times a month you check the report and you private message and reach out individually, or text, private message, send a voice memo on Facebook Messenger congratulating people who are active. So we want to recognize people who are getting active. We want to recognize people who are getting 500 PRV. So basically 200 and up is really what we want to recognize. But I also really like to make a big deal about 500 PRV. And the reason why is because, as y'all know, 500 PRV is what is required of us as leaders to be paid at title. So that's just one of our 3 or more requirements to be paid at title. So 500 is also kind of something that I really like to make a big deal about. So of course, we're wanting to recognize PRV. We're wanting to recognize sponsoring. We're wanting to recognize consistency in PRV. We're wanting to recognize when we see on social media that somebody's going live or like getting uncomfortable and doing something, or we want to reward not only results, right? Like the PRV is a result of an action. We also need to reward the actions, right? The actions that are producing those great results. So if you see the action being done, or if you talk to a team member and they tell you about something they've done, rewarding them or recognizing them for that. So those are the types of things that we're looking for our customer, or for our team members. For our customers, the things that I like to reward and recognize are PWS orders, Scentsy Club orders. Those are at the top of my list right now. Why? Because Scentsy Club and Scentsy Club and PWS orders are very, very, very easy for us as consultants. It is like the whipped cream and the cherry on top of the sundae. It is bonus. It is extra. It is awesome. And they're just little blessings. I love PWS orders and Scentsy Club. So I make sure to really reward those things. I also like to reward referrals. It's important to have some type of referral program in place. It doesn't have to be this big formal thing. You don't have to have it, on a letterhead and you're giving it to everybody. Like, it could just be something you're verbally telling people. Or you could design a cute little postcard or whatever and print it and include it in your orders if you wanted to do so. So we want to recognize referrals from our customers. We want to recognize PWS orders, Scentsy Club orders, hosting, right? Hosting is another thing we want to recognize. There's lots of different things that we, of course, want to recognize for our customers or reward. So let's talk about some of the different ways that we can recognize team members. So we're going to go back to team members now. So let's talk about some of the ways that we can reward or recognize our team members. Now, recognition doesn't have to, rewards, it doesn't always have to be something that costs money. It can be free. It does not have to be costly. So one of my favorite things to do is just go to the Dollar Tree and buy like the 5-pack of extra gum, and it's got the smaller like little sleeves of gum inside, right? And so like I've even just sent those to people before and said like, oh my gosh, you went the extra mile. Thanks for sharing so many awesome things on the team page last month, or oh my gosh, you went the extra mile. Congrats on, having a great PRV month last month or whatever. Just something cheesy like that is very, very inexpensive, but it's meaningful. You took the time to recognize them, send them a little something in the mail, and they're going to feel valued from that. Something that you can do as well is the $5 cookie cards from Cheryl's. So it's CHERYLS, Cheryl's Cookie Cards. You can just Google it and you'll find the website. They have $5 cookie cards. They come in this adorable little box, and there's all different kinds of themes, right? Like you rock, get well, sympathy, blah, blah, blah. There's all different kinds of themes, and they are literally $5. And you order it through the website, ship it direct from them to the person, and you can type up a little note that'll arrive with it. Very, very inexpensive, and of course it is a write-off. So that's a great way that you can recognize people. For a while, when my team was smaller, one of the things that I did was I would every month drew a random drawing. Out of all the people who were active, I would just send like one $5 Starbucks gift card or one cookie card, or even a couple, whatever's in your budget. Just a fun little random treat for somebody who got active. If you would like to do that for, you could always do that for active. You could do that for 500 PRV, and then you could do it again for paid at title. Like, whatever you want to do, there's so many different ideas, whatever speaks to you and whatever works for your budget. But even that small $5 recognition, that small $5 reward is going to do so much more for that person and for their self-esteem and for just feeling valued and feeling part of a community that they just feel connected to and they don't want to leave, right? And I mean, gosh, send them a $5 Starbucks gift card in the mail with a little handwritten note. $5 is so minimal. Skip a coffee for yourself that month and instead give it to them, right? You can do that. I know that you can afford a little $5 gift or even less each month. There are so many inexpensive little fun things you can do. One of my favorite websites is wish.com, WISH. I have found very, very, very inexpensive team little gifts and stuff. Like they have like Alex and Ani look-alike bracelets that are very, very inexpensive. They have little keychains, all kinds of cute sayings. Wish.com is one of my favorite places to find very inexpensive little gifts, little trinkets for doing fun little recognition things for your team members, or when they promote to a new title. I've seen really cute little bracelets and just all kinds of adorable little things. And that's another thing, when I didn't mention this, but when someone promotes to a new title, of course, that's something that we really want to reward and recognize as well, so they want to do it. Other team members see it and they want to do it too. And it creates this culture of when other people are seeing other teammates doing it, it builds their own confidence that they themselves can, in fact, do that. Okay, so let's talk about some more recognition ideas. So, of course, fun mail is always a great thing to reward and recognize your team members. I like to do top 30 is what I do. No, is it 20? I forget right now. I'm having a moment. The baby, I swear. The baby takes all my brain cells. I'm going to blame the baby. But, yeah, I think it's 30. I can't remember off the top of my head for some reason. But anyway, like for you, for your team, you might feel like, oh, I only have like 5 or 6. Well, then recognize number 1 every month. Send a cute little note to the person or postcards if you want to invest in postcards. I use the postcards that say, you were number blank out of our team of blank. And it's really cool, I think, to be able to see where you fell out of the entire group and to know you were in the top 10, top 20, top 30. That's amazing. And so if your team is on the smaller scale, it doesn't hurt to start it and say, hey, you were number 1 out of 5. You were number 1 out of 10, whatever. As your team continues to grow, as your group continues to grow, that second number is going to increase more and more. And I have team members, like one of our directors, Angela Stafford. She's been around a long time. She's one of my most OG teammates, and she'll say all the time, like, oh, I have these postcards that are so cool, that I've held on to that'll say, you were number whatever out of 200, or 100 something or 300 something, when now we're, over 1,000. So it's nostalgic for them too, which is really cool. So when you can afford it, there's so many great postcards designs out there floating around on Facebook in the different flyers groups and stuff. Or you could, of course, design your own on Canva or WordSwag or, any of the many, many apps, PicMonkey, whatever. But I love to send those postcards. I also do birthdays and centiversaries every month. And then, of course, promotions as well. I send postcards, fun mail stuff for people who promote to a new title every single month, including certified. So those are just some of the fun mail things that I like to do that are just kind of more standard. The things I mentioned at the beginning, like the extra gum, the Starbucks gift card, those have all kind of been things I've done more at random, the cookie cards. But I do think that when you're starting out, it's important to think about the future and to know that what you're doing now, you're setting a standard, right? Like you're kind of setting the pace for what will continue to come. And I feel like it's harder to change as your team gets bigger and bigger, and then people are like, oh, she used to do that, I liked that, you know what I mean? So I always give the advice that think about what you want to do now and make sure that you can do it when your team's double the size, triple the size, 10 times the size, right? If you're a team of 10 right now, I don't think you should send all 10 a present every single month, right? Because then what are you going to do when you have a team of 200? You can't send all 200 people a present every single month. You get what I'm saying? So think about what you're going to start doing for rewarding and recognizing your team, and make sure that it's sustainable as your team grows bigger and bigger. So this is kind of like part 1 of your challenge for this week. I want you to write down the specific things that every single month, never fail, you are going to start recognizing and rewarding within your team. And this will kind of serve as a checklist for you as well. One of the things I like to do that has gotten great results, and that's free. Let's talk about free stuff for a little bit. One of the things that I love to do is send voice memos to people, usually between the 15th and the 20th of the month. So the 15th to the 20th, somewhere in that time frame, is when I know I need to go into my workstation, run a report, and look to see what's happening. Look to see who our top performers are. Look to see who's getting close to a promotion, things like that, or who's already gotten paid at title. And I'll just send a few voice messages and say something like, hey Tiffany, I think it's so awesome you've already hit paid at title this month. I just wanted to let you know that I saw that, and that's so awesome. Congratulations. Quick little voice memo. Bam. And then I see this person's close to getting paid at title. Or let's say I see this person's close to a promotion. So I'll send them a message and say, oh my gosh, Amy, have you seen how close you are to promoting to star consultant? Oh my gosh, all you need is one more active frontline and you've got this. How can I help? I want to see you achieve this. This is awesome. Something like that, right? So that is free. But that makes them feel super, super, super valued. And it also sets the stage that you have a relationship with them to help them stretch, to help them grow, to help them work their business and take their business to the next level. That you're not just there when they have silly questions, right? You're there to be a coach as well. And so that sets that, it just kind of sets that expectation more. You know what I mean? So I send a lot of those voice messages between the 15th and the 20th, just looking for, like I said, who's already been paid at title, who's close to getting paid at title, who's close to a promotion, who's just crushing their PRV or crushing their sales, and I'll just send them quick voice messages. Sometimes around that time date, sometimes around that time frame, I will also just send an email, and I'll select like the people that have, are in the top 10 in PRV, for example, and I'll send them a quick email to just say, holy cow, like you are literally top 10 right now out of our entire group of blah, blah, blah. That is amazing. I just want you to know that you absolutely rock, and I would love to know more about what you have been up to. Engaging them in the conversation is always helpful. To ask them, what have you been doing? Like, how are you getting this killer PRV? Or what are you doing? How have you gotten so many new team members this month? And a lot of times that will create a conversation where you learn something new. And you can say, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I've never even heard of that idea. That is genius. I would absolutely love it if you would be willing to go live in our team page to share that with other people, because that is a great idea. And what does that do? That builds your belief in them, right? It shows that you believe in them and you trust them that they could go live in your team page and share this great idea. And that also puts them in front of everybody else in a leadership perspective that helps to build their own confidence. I do that all the time when I hear people are doing something that I know I haven't really trained on and I think it would be great for our team to hear. I ask people to do that all the time. And sometimes it's met with hesitation, but most of the time it's met with, oh wow, I'd be honored, thank you so much. So anyway, recognition doesn't have to be there doesn't have to be any money associated with it. Sometimes just a voice message is or a text message, or even just meeting up for a coffee, is just huge to people. It's that the people that value time, the people that value words of affirmation, and that's a lot of people. Words of affirmation is mine. So actually, wait, no, that's my second. My first and my second are very, very close. My first is acts of service. My second is words of affirmation. All right, so another thing I wanted to mention, which is there is cost associated with it, but one of the things I love as well is using slide dial broadcast. So, and this is something that I incorporated probably like 3 or 4 years ago, and I love it. So it's called Slide Dial Broadcast, and it is a website where you basically pay for mass delivered voicemails. So I use this for my customers. I also use this for my team members. So let's say that you wanted to send a voicemail to every single person on your team who was active last month, right? So you would run your report, get all the people that were active last month, make sure their cell phone numbers are on the report. So you just do the add visible columns, right? And you add their cell phone number, and then you export it to Excel, copy all the phone numbers, and then you open up your Slide Dial website, right? Log into your account, and what's so cool is these voicemails will automatically be delivered straight to their voicemail. So no phone ringing, no nothing, and you plug in your own phone number, so it comes from your phone number, and it gets delivered directly to their voicemail. And what's cool too about Slide Dial Broadcast is you can save your voice messages. So it could just be the same voice message that you use every month. Oh my gosh, congratulations, you were active last month. I am so proud of you. Congratulations on earning yourself a nice little paycheck. For example, that could be the voicemail, right? You could have voicemails for birthdays. You could have voicemails for centiversaries. You could have voicemails for getting paid at title. You could have voicemails for promotions. I have voicemails for all of those things, right? And they're all saved in my Slide Dial account. And so I would, like I said, export the numbers, copy and paste, and then you open up your website, select the voicemail that you want to choose, paste the phone numbers to all the recipients, and it will do that. It doesn't matter if there are 2,000 recipients or 5 recipients. It works the exact same way. And you are charged per delivered voicemail. So you're not charged if they attempt to deliver a voicemail and it doesn't get left. And gosh, oh man, I forget how much it was because it's been a while since I loaded it because I bought so many. But it's very, very, very inexpensive. Very inexpensive. I think it was like 1,000 delivered voicemails for like $60 or something like that. Like, does that sound right? I don't know. I can't remember. I'm telling you, this baby boy is destroying my brain. I have zero memory right now. So I can't remember exactly the cost, but you can look it up, Slide Dial Broadcast, and it's a really cool way to have very, very inexpensive recognition on a larger scale. So you might feel like, oh, I only have a team of like 3 or 4 right now, and that's not really a good fit for me. But as your team grows, it could be something that you really find a great benefit in incorporating. All right, so those are just a couple ideas for monetary and non-monetary recognition for team members. So let's talk about recognizing our customers. So one of the greatest ways that we can recognize our customers for things like ordering on our website, ordering on Scentsy Club, is just thanking them in general. For the longest time, I was neglecting my PWS orders. And guys, that was a huge mistake. PWS orders are gold, and at the end of the day, these people that are ordering through Scentsy Club and ordering on your website are paying shipping. They're paying a minimum of $8 shipping or a minimum of $5 shipping if they're using Scentsy Club. So they are making it easier for us to get Scentsy products. They're exclusive to us, and they're paying a shipping fee. So why would we, as business owners, not reward that behavior? Because that is 100% a behavior that we want them to continue to repeat, right? So every single time, every single customer who orders on my website gets a thank you note. They get a postcard that talks about Scentsy Club. All it is the graphic from our marketing tab of our workstation about Scentsy Club that I printed into a postcard. Like I said, a handwritten thank you note, a Scentsy Club postcard, and a free scent circle. And depending on what they spend, usually that's like around the 50 to 60 mark, or less, that's what they get is a scent circle. And if they spend more, I add in extra samples and goodies and stuff like that. Does it cost me money to mail them this gift? Yes. But if I only send them a scent circle, I can send it in a regular envelope with one stamp, and it's fine, right? That's all it needs. If I want to add in extras, that's when I'm spending a little bit more. So even if you're spending $2, $4, that's the most I ever spend is like $4. Even if you're spending like $4 on a customer, that's half of what they paid in shipping just to shop your website, not even including product, right? So we can afford to spend a little to thank them for that and recognize them for that. So have a system in place, whether you do it once a week, once a month. I promise you, if you consistently start rewarding your PWS shoppers, including Scentsy Club, because Scentsy Club is basically a PWS order, except it's automated, yes, you're going to find that people continue doing it, because the things that you reward and recognize will be the things that are repeated. So, super, super, super important that you find ways to recognize them. Also, what I do, similar to Morgan, we have our VIP program. So my VIP program is pretty much identical to Morgan's. The month they place an order, that puts them in my VIP program. So for 3 months following that, they will receive a free sample. I always do the, the felt samples, since it's so hot in Florida and stuff. So I always do felt samples. So the month they order, for the next 3 months, they get my VIP monthly package, which is a flyer for the scent and warmer of the month, that we get in our warmer of the month kit, the felt sample of the scent of the month, any flyers for any current promotions, like Bring Back My Bar or the summer collection or whatever. So a flyer for that. And I always include my postcards, which you guys have seen if you're on my team and Morgan's team, you've seen hers. Our postcards are pretty much identical. It lets them know, hey, you placed an order with me. Thank you. As a special thank you, you're getting a sample for 3 months. And then on that third and final month, their postcard is going to be the other one. There's 2 postcards. On that third and final month, they're getting the postcard that says, hey, this is your last month to receive my sample unless you place an order. That's the gist of it. It doesn't say it flat out like that, but that's the gist of it. So that's another way I thank all my customers. So it's not just website, it's not just club, it's every single customer who, whether they shopped a home party, a bag party, online, came over, shopped my inventory, whatever it is, no matter how they shopped with me, if they shop with me, they're in my VIP program for 3 months, and then they're out if they don't place another order. So every month, I'm adding people to my VIP list and taking people off. So that helps to maintain the list and keep it like a realistic number. Okay, so let's talk about rewarding referrals. So one of the great things you can do is reward your customers for referring you business. So you can, there's limitless ideas. So I've seen postcards, I've seen business cards, like on the back side of a normal business card, where you can say something along the lines of like, hey, if you send me a customer who places an order, you're gonna get a free bar of the scent of the month. If you send me a customer who hosts a party with me, you get this. If you send somebody who sends me somebody who joins my team, you get this. It's very important that you let your customers know the referrals that you are looking for, because these people don't own a Scentsy business. These customers don't know what you need unless you ask them for it. If you let them know, hey, I'm always looking for events. If you hear of anything like at your church, your children's community, let me know. Hey, I'm always looking to do fundraisers. If Scotty's soccer team needs a fundraiser, I'd love the opportunity to pitch a Scentsy fundraiser. If you don't plant these seeds and let them know it's going to be rewarded if they do so, they're not going to even put it, it's not even going to be on their radar. And then when they do it, make sure you honor your word and you reward them with whatever you said you were going to reward them with. So like, for example, if I'm just telling somebody verbally like, hey, you know, I know Timmy's in soccer, right? Do they do fundraisers? If she's like, yeah, blah, 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 and I say, oh my gosh, that'd be so great. Can you give me the contact information for whoever's in charge? I'd love to talk to them about it. And then she gets me said contact information. I should reward her with a little something just for giving me that contact information. And then if something comes to fruition from the fundraiser, like if I actually get a fundraiser booked, I should need to give her something, right? And what I'll usually say is, I will totally hook you up with some free Scentsy. So, I'll ask her, hey, is there a warmer you had your eye on, or a new product you had your eye on? And we'll have a conversation about it, and I'll give her something that she wants. Maybe she wants Scentsy Soak. Maybe she wants, the new olive bucket warmer. I don't know, what she wants. So a lot of times it doesn't have to be a formal thing, and it could just be a verbal thing. So do whatever works for you, but make sure that you have some type of referral system for most of the aspects of your business, and that you are consistently asking your customers for those things. Another thing that I just started incorporating to reward or recognize my customers is Freebie Friday. So any of you who follow Chloe Cox on social media, you might have already heard of this idea. But every Friday, she goes to her website, goes to her workstation, runs a report, everybody who's subscribed to her newsletter. So that's kind of like the catch. Hey, if you're subscribed to my newsletter, you're going to get my weekly Freebie Friday emails. So that's more of a motivation for them to be subscribed. So what is it you're rewarding, right? You're rewarding the subscription to your website. You're rewarding people for getting your monthly newsletter, which is beneficial to you and your business, of course. So once a week on Fridays, she sends this email and says, it's Freebie Friday. I'm giving away a free sample of blank. And it's always a consumable product of some kind, whether it's a room spray or the laundry products with a baggie from the Scentsy Success, from Scentsy Success, of the laundry liquid and the Scent Soft, and then like a little baggie of washer whiff, so they can really experience a lot of the products from the laundry line. It could be, one of each of those three things. It could be a sample of a room spray, a sample of a counter clean, it could be a sample of Scentsy Soak, whatever it is. Trying to get customers to try other consumables. And it's a great way to get people to book parties with you because they've tried a new consumable that they want, right? So it's a perfect angle to approach a party. So anyway, every Friday she sends this email and says, hey, the first 10 people to respond to this email saying whatever, and she'll do like a code word and say the code word and give me your current address, your cell phone number, and your email address, just because that information can kind of change, and so it's important for you to keep that data up to date. So yeah, and then the first 10 people to respond get that week's prize. So you could choose to do that once a week, once a month, whatever's in your budget, whatever's in your time frame. But that's a great way to reward people for something, your customers, for something as simple as being enrolled in your website, and just enrolled in your newsletter, and just basically being your customer. So as you can see, there are, and honestly, there's stuff that you can do for your customers that's free. And that's as simple as writing a handwritten thank you note that you're putting in their bag with their orders, or that you're sending with a, in the mail for a PWS order. There are so many things that your customers are doing, that your team members are doing, that might be slipping through the cracks and might be slipping through, might be missing on your radar. And it's really, really, really important that we remember that recognition, rewarding, all of that is huge for people. And if we want these great behaviors, these great actions, and the great results that come along with the actions and the behaviors, we have got to be in a pattern of rewarding and recognizing those things. So What I want to challenge you to do this week, your challenge of the week, is to identify the behaviors, the actions, behaviors, whatever, of your team members and of your customers that you are going to, if you're not already, consistently start recognizing and rewarding. And for your team, I want like a minimum of 5, right? There needs to be like at least 5 behaviors and actions that you're going to start consistently recognizing and rewarding. And for your customers, same thing. Like, I'm not going to tell you like a minimum, but for your team, there should be at least 5 things. So I want to see on our challenge of the week post, I want to see written out, typed out, whatever. What are the 5 actions, at least 5, you can have more than that, actions, behaviors that you are going to start rewarding and recognizing on a monthly basis or a weekly basis or whatever. Tell us what the action is, how often you're going to be recognizing it or rewarding it, and what you plan on doing for your team and your customers. We are going to create an atmosphere where people feel valued, where people feel supported, where people feel loved, where people feel appreciated. And that is an environment where we are going to get better results from our team members and better results from our customers. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not going to notice an immediate effect from this. I'm not saying next month things are going to be super different, but it will happen. I get at least, and this was not the case before I started thinking PWS orders consistently. Every month, I'm never, ever, ever, ever concerned about my 500 PRV. I know every single month, it's a guarantee I'm going to have my 500 PRV just from Scentsy Club orders. That's it. Just from Scentsy Club, I know I'm going to have my 500 PRV. Then on top of that, my PWS orders are usually between another 300 and 500 every single month. Never fail. So just those things right there are getting me like 1,000 in PRV every single month. Do you think that happened without my own intentionality and my own focus on rewarding and recognizing the things I wanted people to repeat? Nope. We already talked about Scentsy Club last week and how freaking awesome that is and how you need to get your customers on board with it, because that's going to create some consistency in your PRV. But what is also going to help is rewarding and recognizing those PWS orders and those Scentsy Club orders. Like I said, rewarding your customers, rewarding your team members, it is all going to come back to be blessings and benefits. You just got to be patient and stick around for the results to come. You know, they usually say there's a 90-day cycle in this business, and that what you do today, you're going to feel the results from in 90 days. Are you patient enough to even wait the 90 days? Are you patient? Are you going to be diligent for the next 90 days to keep doing the same things that you know you need to be doing to feel the positive results? So I hope this week inspired you with some fun new recognition and rewarding ideas, and I can't wait to hear from you guys to know exactly what it is that you're going to be rewarding and recognizing now moving forward for your customers and your team members. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.